Cronkite News starts now.
Good evening and welcome to Cronkite News Refresh on Arizona PBS. I'm Amna Sapan. Thank you for joining us. Arizona surpassed another grim milestone in COVID-19 data today. The State Department of Health Services added 8,099 new coronavirus cases to its dashboard this morning. That pushes the total number of cases since the pandemic began to more than 700,000. 229 more COVID-related deaths were also reported today, bringing the state's total to more than 12,000. As of Thursday afternoon, the state had given out more than 347,000 doses of the vaccine. The Navajo Nation is also struggling with the control of the spread of COVID-19. As a result, a stay-at-home order has been extended through at least February 15th. The Navajo Department of Health has issued a public health order, which sets a daily curfew from 9 p.m. to 5 a.m. starting Monday. To date, there have been more than 26,000 confirmed coronavirus cases and 940 related deaths on the Navajo Nation. The search is over for a new member of the Arizona Independent Redistricting Commission. A Chandler psychologist has been chosen to fill the commission's 5th chair. The panel avoided choosing 2 other nominees who had been unsuccessfully challenged in courts by Democrats. The commission will be redrawing Arizona's political district lines, and the new map should be in place for the 2022 elections. Arizona is expected to gain a 10th U.S. House seat. The commission agreed to meet again on February 2nd. Turning to weather, 2 winter storms are expected to move through this weekend and early into next week. Both are expected to bring snow to the high terrain east of Phoenix. Rain and high elevation snow showers increased in coverage across northern Arizona today. The National Weather Service and Flagstaff has issued a winter storm warning for portions of the Mogollon Rim in Yavapai County above 6,000 feet. That takes effect tonight. So if you're traveling north this weekend, the Weather Service advises drivers to be extra cautious. 9 out of 10 people with lupus are women, and Black women are 3 times more likely to get lupus than white women. Cronkite News reporter Carolina Lopez tells us why.
Niobe Gordon-Ricks says she was 12 when she noticed that something was not right with her health.
Pain initially was all over my body. I started experiencing partial paralysis from my waist down.
It wasn't until she was 32 that she was diagnosed with lupus. Rheumatologist Nahad Solomon says that lupus typically starts with rashes or joint pain, but there is another factor.
Especially a woman of color tends to be sort of a red signal, if you will.
Lupus is an autoimmune disease that can sometimes be difficult to detect in younger women. According to the Lupus Foundation of America, 9 out of 10 people with lupus are women. Black women are 3 times more likely to get lupus than white women, according to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. Lupus is more common in Hispanic, Asian, and Indigenous women. Solomon says that people with lupus can make changes to improve their quality of life.
Because stress oftentimes triggers autoimmune diseases to flare. You want to make sure that you're taking care of your body, mind, soul, spirit, everything.
Gordon-Ricks dedicates time sharing awareness about the disease and finding balance in her life.
I have a supportive family and they help me, get through a lot of it.
Carolina Lopez, Cronkite News.
Many migrants seeking asylum in the United States are often left behind or become lost in the desert after crossing the U.S.-Mexico border. Cronkite News reporter Delaney White talked to a man working with his friends as a search and rescue team to reunite families with their loved ones. Some images included in this report are graphic.
The American dream is what these migrants are chasing, but it is often out of reach.
Unfortunately, most of the times, they end up dead, in the desert.
Once a migrant himself, Campos has been doing search and rescue operations for almost 7 years with his friends.
How you doing? Tired?
When they receive calls from families in Mexico and Central America reporting someone has gone missing on the U.S. side of the border, they immediately gather all of the information that they can and set off in search of the missing migrant.
Let's say that somebody get lost here where I am in California in a park, regardless their status. Police comes together, the sheriff, helicopters, everyone, that community, and they go and look for that person.
Even working on the U.S. side of the border has dangers and threats of intimidation.
Trying to look for this person very close to the border with Mexico, which is going to be kind of dangerous because we know the cartel is going to be looking at us. You know, we're going to pretty much just a few meters away from where they're at and where we're going to start searching.
I'm here in Nogales, Arizona at the border wall, where if you look all the way behind me, you can see most of it is brown, but we're actually here in this section that has been painted white. And we learned from Border Patrol that this is a high traffic area where they see a lot of crossing, which is why they've painted it white to help with situational awareness.
Julia Black, project coordinator for ION's Missing Migrant Project, shares that the numbers she sees are indicative of people crossing the border out of desperation, even though they may face life-threatening consequences for doing so.
The number of deaths is proportionally high. So basically, the number of people apprehended at the border has decreased by like a third. So it's very low compared to last year, but the number of deaths has only, decreased by about 2/3.
Black hopes people will not suffer from compassion fatigue and will continue to care about these issues and the severe impact they have on human life.
And as we speak right now, there's people just trying to get a small bottle of water because they're under a bush. They're dying right now. And this is not a theory, that is reality right now.
Campos says he and his friends do as much as they can to help, but hope the government will ultimately intervene in order to save the lives of many. Delaney White, Cronkite News.
Campos creates online fundraisers on popular websites such as GoFundMe in order to help pay for the operations and assist migrants in distress. Coming up on Cronkite News, the city of Phoenix and ASU are teaming up on a cool pavement pilot program. We'll show you how it could help combat our urban heat island. And on Break It Down, how to deal with the loss of miscarrying.
The people are saying they're not happy. Do you accept that?
Irrational people, not often convinced by facts.
Okay, well, let's talk about people you hate, though.
You've said that categorizing yourself is a terrible mistake.
That's pretty controversial.
Well, it's the truth.
Weekdays at midnight on Arizona PBS.
Recently, many schools in Arizona have started to transition back to virtual learning due to the rising cases of COVID-19. But other schools are still teaching students in person. Faith Abercrombie learned more about a recent petition that's calling for the state of Arizona to create a better plan for schools during a pandemic.
The petition was started by the Arizona Education Association, and it's calling for a better plan to keep students, staff, and teachers safe.
Now, as cases rise nationally and in Arizona, many of those mitigation measures remain in place.
But now, the Arizona Education Association is calling for a statewide action plan for safer schools during COVID-19 through a petition.
We never got that clear-cut direction. It was basically passing the buck to our school districts and putting all the responsibility on opening, reopening, closing, mitigation strategies, all on the individual districts.
The AEA previously sent 2 letters to Governor Ducey asking for a transparent and statewide plan for schools and received no response.
What do the numbers need to say in order for there to be action? I don't know what needs to happen.
Do it for our teachers.
The petition asks for actions to be done like additional funding to support distance learning, inspections of air filtration systems, and proper PPE and cleaning supplies.
We have been asking for a unified voice. And so this petition is asking for the governor to meet with educators, which he has yet to do, and try to help actually think about how the plans are impacting each individual student, but also educators.
Superintendent of Public Instruction Kathy Hoffman shared this statement with Cronkite News. It starts by saying she values the collaboration with Governor Ducey's office, but then it says in part, as our COVID-19 case numbers continue to surge, it is time for more aggressive mitigation strategies. I would support a statewide mask mandate, testing and quarantine requirements for seasonal residents, a pause on winter sports, limits on social gatherings, and flexibility for restaurants to expand outdoor dining. These efforts are needed to protect all Arizonans' health and safety, but particularly our education and healthcare professionals.
The AEA told me they meet frequently with Superintendent Hoffman to talk about strategies for COVID-19 within schools. As of today, the AEA has not yet heard back from the governor's office. In the broadcast center, Faith Abercrombie, Cronkite News.
The global pandemic has changed the college experience for many university students as well. As Haley Bartow reports, student organizations and clubs have had to adapt to a virtual setting.
The fall 2020 semester has been one that many students would have never expected. Universities have put strict restrictions on the student body to ensure everyone's safety. However, these restrictions are making it harder for students to engage in their normal school activities. Arizona State University nursing student Abby Robertson explains how COVID-19 has affected her organization, the Student Advocacy Committee for the Edson College of Nursing.
COVID has affected our organization's ability to hold meetings, and the fact that we are no longer allowed to be in groups larger than 10 and we must stay 6 feet apart. What we have done to fix this is we have started Zoom meetings so that everyone can be involved and we can still bounce ideas off each other, just in a breakout room.
Universities all over the state are having to learn how to work around the new CDC regulations, and it has not been the easiest transition. Haley Roberts is a member of Chi Omega at Northern Arizona University, and she explains how important it is for them to follow CDC guidelines.
We would get fined or kicked off. I think they are kicking people off campus if they hold like big parties or events. And then we can't post pictures with more than the CDC recommended number, I think it is, without a mask on. So NAU would also punish us for that.
Not being able to meet in person has temporarily changed student life. However, these students are doing everything they can to make their semester feel normal.
Rush was all Zoom, and then bid day, if the girls felt comfortable, they could meet some of us, but it was only like in groups of like 2 or 3. Like it was super minimum, obviously with masks. But yeah, other than that, like I haven't seen a ton of my sisters because of it. So that sucks, but at least they're like handling it. So yeah.
Some student organizations are even beginning to see the benefits of working virtually.
Personally, I believe we are still getting the full effect of the organization. We're able to meet together, we're able to bounce ideas and actually come up with solutions. And one thing I love is that the solutions we make help not only my term, but the future terms that come through the nursing school, and that's very gratifying.
Haley Bartow, Cronkite News.
As of this morning, Biden led Trump by around 68,000 votes in Arizona. That's down from around 92,000 votes reported Wednesday. Cronkite News politics reporter Alex Gall took a look at how many votes are left to be counted in our battleground state and when that count will finish.
68,000 votes. That's the gap right now between challenger Joe Biden and President Donald Trump in Arizona. It's 2 days after the election, but a definite winner in the state is still uncertain.
It is normal that we are still counting ballots right now. We want to make sure that every vote is counted, and that's what we're focused on right now.
Joe Biden has maintained a mostly steady lead as returns have come in over the last 2 days. But the gap has slowly been shrinking as more ballots cast in person on Election Day are being added to the totals. While Fox News and the Associated Press have called the race in favor of Joe Biden, there is still not a consensus amongst all of the networks.
In this moment, there is that outlier of someone who's called it early. And traditionally, when one network calls it, you'll see other networks will kind of fall in line. But that hasn't happened so much this time around.
Tammy Patrick used to work in the Maricopa County Elections Department and says that while Maricopa will count all of its ballots, the race will likely be called before they are finished.
No matter when the race is called, there will still be lots of ballots to be counted.
Maricopa County has released 2 batches of voting returns in the last 24 hours, both of which favor Donald Trump. Between the two, Trump gained just under 25,000 votes on Biden to bring his deficit statewide down under 70,000 votes.
The exact number of outstanding ballots in the state is still uncertain, although a large portion of them are expected to come from Maricopa County. And that's good news for President Donald Trump, as returns there continue to show him gaining on Joe Biden.
Traditionally, there have been, tens of thousands of ballots that were still being processed, in the weeks following the election. So it really comes down to a question of when is the media comfortable projecting who the winner might be.
Maricopa County is expected to release its newest batch of votes tonight at about 7 p.m., and results from other counties will trickle in as well. In Phoenix, Alex Gull, Cronkite News.
Right now, the city of Phoenix and ASU are teaming up on a cool pavement pilot program. Melissa Zaremba explains how this could help combat our urban heat island.
Back in August, the city of Phoenix launched a pilot program studying the use of cool pavement.
They will be coating the road surface with a highly reflective seal so that more of the energy that hits the road during the day from the sun is actually reflected back into the atmosphere. So that means that the surface temperature of the road actually stays cooler than a regular asphalt road.
The lighter color can help reduce the heat island effect, which is when the daily temperatures in urban areas can be about to 22 degrees hotter than temperatures measured in the suburbs.
Also put some temperature sensors called eye buttons inside the pavement, inside the road surface, so that we can measure the temperature of the actual road and also see how, over time, the road is degrading faster or slower.
Comparing the two pavements, looking at the traditional asphalt pavement could get up to 160 degrees Fahrenheit, which is hotter than Arizona's hottest days. But according to the City of Phoenix results, the cool pavement is already seeing a 20 degrees difference in surface temperature, which is already a major difference. The city is testing the coating in portions of 8 neighborhoods and 1 city park, areas where the asphalt needed to be resurfaced anyway.
Expect this to last longer than a traditional seal coat, up to 7 to 8 years, whereas a traditional asphalt seal coat might last between 3 and 4.
The pilot program cost $3.3 million and was paid through the city's street maintenance budget.
We think it's going to improve the performance of the pavement vis-a-vis cracking and all the other aspects. So that's an added value, which you can quantify by saying that even though the product might be a little bit expensive, there's more value to it.
Melissa Zaremba, Cronkite News.
The test of cool pavement is still ongoing, and early results will be posted between now and the end of 2020 on the City of Phoenix's website.
That's it for Cronkite News tonight. Thanks for joining us. For top Arizona stories anytime, go to cronkitenews.azpbs.org.